Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Baka.
What's up, guys? Yeah, it sounds like there's construction going on. It's not. It's just our baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's a T-Rex upstairs just stomping around.
That was from upstairs?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I know, right?
He's got huge feet, man. That guy just wham.
That probably
Like-
wasn't his feet. That was probably a toy that he was like walking along the floor. You know.
You should still hear him run. Dude sounds like he's wearing bricks for shoes. All right, enough about my incredible child. What have you guys played this week?
I've of course been playing Icarus because, well, crack. But we playing part of Icarus. We got into a level to where we're in the desert. We already knew where tier 3 cave was, so we set up base inside this tier 3, and all week long what we ended up doing inside this tier 3 is creating the base and putting electricity in, and then getting as much stuff as we could to try to see the different things you can build in the game so far. We went and beat the level that we, like the little mission that we actually had to do, which I don't want to give anything away because eventually I think at least some of the people here will end up playing the game. But it's one of those where I'm so glad that I'm good at platformers. I'm so good. I'm so glad that so is he, because what you had to do to get to beat it and you had to get back to your ship. So you had to set yourself up right. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't say any more than that without giving away the fun. But I'm really glad I was good at platformers. So we had like a really good time with that one. We actually took our ships out today out of the area. But just before that, yesterday they added a new patch that added scorpions in the desert area.
No thanks.
Which is gonna make the desert area even harder, because scorpions, trying to kill them with a bow is nearly impossible unless you have one of the high-end compound bows. And even then it's like 3 hits. It's stupid. So that's gonna be fun next time we have to go into one of those areas. Today we're supposed to be starting a thing to find a radar for exotics, and that way we can pick up exotics. Because what I found out is you can take the exotics back. When you take them back with you on the ship, you can actually sell them for the regular currency that's in there, and then use that to buy stuff to put on your ship to take down with you to kind of speed everything up. So I was able to buy a furnace, which means we can immediately start mining without having to build a bunch of stuff to be able to make iron and copper and all that stuff. So, which would be pretty interesting. Also, one of the things I ended up doing is we played through the new Sea of Thieves update, which is actually, it was quite interesting. It was just me and an old man. We got on our boat, a little sloop. We were slooping it up, moving through the world, and I was like, okay, let's get to where we need to go. And he goes, okay. So we get there. Of course, big freaking fog, like I've discussed before. They've got fog now for the area. So you show up, you talk to the lady that you needed to talk to, and she sends you on the mission. And so we go to the mission, and it's one of those where we kind of suspected when we were doing the fortresses before, because there was no key to the prison,
right.
that was what it was going to end up being. And sure enough, that's what it is. Here's the problem. So in every single prison you go to, because she's the person that is part of the plot line, Wanda's in every prison. There's 3 people in every prison, and each one of the people are part of oh god, what is it, Golden Sands, I think. Okay. Because that's the outpost that's been destroyed, right? And so all of them were the workers from there. But they're different ones, and they double up. So you go into one and it'll be like, oh, here's Clyde and here's Tom, right? And then you get the next one, and Clyde might still be there. Wanda's always going to be there. And then it might be somebody else, Emily, and then like and I'm like, oh my God. Well, to finish the story, like not the main line itself, you just have to finish 3 fortresses, talk to the people that are there, and then that gets you the sword that's the reward for doing it. But if you wanted to finish the entire story, you have to talk to every person, and there's like 12 people, so you've got to find all of them, and so I guess you got to go to all 6 fortresses to be able to pull this off. I'm not really 100% sure on that.
Well, if they're RNG, you're just gonna have to keep doing them until you eventually find them.
I mean, I'm hoping that I can like go on to one of the websites and it'll be like, okay, these are the people you need. These are where they are. That's what it is. I haven't looked it up yet because we were just playing around the other night. But it's great. Like it made the fight a little more challenging for the fortress because you had one extra fight you had to do before the main fight started for the captain for the fortresses. The fortresses are really quick though. So it's one of those to where if you wanted to go in, get a little bit of money. So let's say you wanted to get 10, 20,000 gold. It's the first time I can ever say this about Sea of Thieves. You can actually accomplish something within about 30 minutes.
Oh,
wow. That's surprising.
Yeah. So like you sell there, you get it done. You could literally hop back on a boat and go right back, sell everything and get off. So like you're like, oh, I want to do a little bit of stuff on my lunch break. You can do it.
Sea of Thieves is not a lunch break game.
Was like, let me finish this, and 2 hours later, you're back to where you need to go. So the little fortress, I think they're a good addition. I'm interested to see if people actually start taking these over because supposedly they want them in there to where people will cosplay a little bit or role play really inside the game itself and kind of take over one of these and just kind of have a good time while they're inside of it. Because as long as you're on the property, the ghost and everything else doesn't reset. The minute you leave, there's a little bit of a timer there, and then it'll reset. So one of the things we did because we were trying to see if we could unlock more of the people. You finish the first battle, and that gives you the key for the prison. And then we would just run down to the prison, see if it's the people we needed to talk to or not, go in real quick. And then if it wasn't, then we just left. Because we're like, okay, we've already gotten the gold and everything else from these others, so we're good. Just to kind of hurry through them. But it's overall though, they're fun and not a lot of people are doing them. Like there was one where we saw people shooting at each other there was 3 ships at one location. And I was like, you could have gone to there's 5 other locations. Why is everybody at this one? But there's also accommodations you get for shooting people with the cannons from the actual thing. And I think that's what they were kind of all doing. So I think they were just kind of playing around with it. But overall, like that was a really fun experience. I enjoyed playing through that. I still do not like the fact that no one can go back to the first story. And so you got to they kind of have to explain because I forgot what happened in the first story because it's been 3 weeks. So it's like, I don't even remember what happened. And then she's talking about it and I'm like, okay.
Just go buy the comic book and read it.
Yeah. They did announce a new novel, which the first novel was really, really, really good. So I'm hoping the second one is just as good as the first one was, which gives you a little bit of background. I think this one's going to concentrate more on Flameheart, where the last one concentrated more on the Pirate Lord and the building of Sea of Thieves in general. So I'm excited about that. But I think that's pretty much everything I played. I played a little bit of Apex horribly, very badly, very, 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 very badly. But that was pretty much it. That's all I got.
Cool. We played some Project Zomboid. I died. No big deal. Whatever. But yesterday.
You died? Weird.
I know, right?
I just sat around and fished for hours. I caught a 15-pound fish that nearly killed me before I realized that it was in my backpack.
But yesterday we tried out a game that is new to us. It is not a new game by any means. But we played with a group of friends. We played Human Fall Flat, and that one's fun. I think the problem is that one of the people we were playing with gets
Trolly is the word you're looking for.
Well, he gets bored sometimes.
Trolling is
in
the
games
word
that
she's looking for.
require thinking, I guess. And this is like
He prefers chaos.
yes, and it was, it was one of those things where we had to get a truck and load it with coal and drive it down to where the I don't know, reactors were, and we're
The
supposed
furnaces.
to refill it. Yeah, the furnaces, and then light it so that we could use the pressure from the full furnaces. And as Red was driving the truck down, he grabbed the wheel and just, I think Red thought he was going to stop. He was just like messing with him, but he actually drove it off the map. So there goes the coal and the truck. And
I feel like every story has Red in it doing something that ends up damaging everyone. Or
Red was
No,
the
Red
one that
wasn't
caused
the one
this.
that. Yeah, Red wasn't the one that caused this. This was not his
Okay.
fault. He was trying to stop it and actually drive the truck.
Okay, because I was about to say,
But-
because he's also like when he showed up to my ARC server that one time, and next thing we hear is mistakes were made, and there's a Triceratops that's trying to kill us all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely his motto.
Yeah. So, but overall, that one's interesting. Like the amount of you can go this way. This is how we intend for you to do it, but you can go this way. It's pretty neat. The boat level, not fun for any of us. I don't think anybody in the group, and there were 6 of us, I don't think anybody had fun in the boat level. That boat level is stupid.
No.
Yeah, it's the same people that did Gang Beasts, right?
I think so.
I mean, the physics seem very, very similar.
Yes. The we on one of the, I think it was the Egyptian level or whatever it was, we kind of fucked it up a little bit, so we were stuck at a certain part for quite a while, and we lost 2 people, by the way. That's when 2 people had to leave because it was getting too late.
Yeah.
But after we got through there, since this game rewards exploration, me and Grif were doing something, and Baka and Snitty were trying a different way, and because I was looking at a different way when Grif was like, "Oh, you have to use this to get back across," and I was like, "Oh yeah, we could get it across," and she's like, "I'm talking about this way," and I was like, "But we could try it this way." So I just sent her across, and it leads you to the direct end of the level. It's a shortcut that cuts the entire level out, and you just get straight to the end.
Yeah.
And it's intentional too, because the tools that they give you fit perfectly. Basically, you have to push a board out all the way across the ravine with a box on it and have somebody else stand on the box, and then they can run off and jump and grab the ledge. Unfortunately, if you don't have anybody standing on it, I missed. I had to have Grif come over and pull me up, or else I would have just fell off.
Yeah.
But it led us directly to the end of the level. So it's a really interesting puzzle exploration, open world puzzle exploration game
Yeah.
that you
That's
can play
cool.
with your friends. It's really neat. And like on the second level, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm tired of just solving these puzzles the normal way. I'm just gonna go see what else this level has to offer." And I was like, "Oh, this seems like you could get up right here." And so I just went and grabbed a couple of bean bags, got on the bean bags, jumped over, and was like 3 or 4 puzzles ahead of everybody, just waiting.
Yeah, one
was like,
person
"Hi,
was like
I'm
super
over
into
here."
solving the puzzles, and Chicken was like, "Hey, look, I can just jump this wall," and he was like, "But the puzzle."
I tried it a different way. I tried I broke the glass into the building that Chicken went behind, and tried to go through there, but I couldn't break the glass up on the stairs for whatever reason, even after grabbing a fire extinguisher and just trying to hit it. Because my idea was to get up on the little balcony thing and just jump over and
Yeah. There's
The game
a
is super neat.
there's a surprising amount of platforming that I was actually okay at. So
To be fair, you were whooping ass on it for the most part. At some points, I was like, "All right, we're working through." Griffith's way up ahead. I was like, "All right." She's the one that's supposed to be bad at platforming, yet she's literally just schooling everybody right now. Can we get up there and get her?
Everybody has an off day.
everybody at the same time, clearly.
Griff had an on day, then everybody else.
That's what I'm
just had a
saying. Her
normal
off day happened to be one that was she was
Oh,
good at
or it's
platforming.
because the controls for the platforming and stuff are just so awkward that Grif is a master at it, and we're just like, this is not now how the rest of them work.
So she's accidentally right, basically.
I don't know. She just got the hang of it very quickly.
Yeah. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I really do be like that.
Yes, I think that's most of what we played.
Yeah.
That and WoW, of course.
And, yeah, wow. We got further into Black Temple.
Yeah.
Now we're
progress.
focusing on one raid. We're focusing on one raid now.
But we have what 2 more bosses to down.
Yes, 2 more bosses. I have a feeling we'll be dropping another one this week, and we'll be working on the last one.
We'll see.
Yes, we will see.
Jack Council's gonna be a pain.
All my hunters have to be on their mark. They have to pull perfectly in sync. It's gonna be fun. Get ready.
Anything else for games?
No, I haven't really played much of anything else.
Nope.
Chicken
I did just WoW stuff. Did dailies and stuff here and there to farm some gold back up.
Yeah, I should do that at some point. I'm not going to, but I should.
She is
should.
very honest.
I think this week I made like almost 200 gold back. So
Yeah,
That's not too bad.
I should. I'm not going to. Well, you want to talk about some news stuff?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Where do we want to jump in with this stuff? I don't know that any of it's related to what we played this week, so.
Yeah, it's very similar to last week where we just kind of go, none of it's really related.
Yeah, none of it's really related. None of it's like super huge, so.
Let's start with one of the things we discussed last week was the fact that the new Halo television show was going to be starting, and that there was a Tahoe in it, and we were like, okay, this has got to be a placeholder, or they're going to make it a placeholder now, or whatever. The answer is no.
No.
Huge spoiler. No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that.
but what was their logic behind having it then?
No.
No.
Not
Like
even mentioned.
it's the only thing that I can figure based on watching it. Is I think they wanted to show the contrast between what the UNSC has and what the insurgents have, and just say, look, these people are working with really old stuff, and it's something that's relatable to people nowadays that they can kind of think of it that way, and versus what the UNSC has technology.
I think it was just like I get what you're trying to say. I don't think
Yeah.
it's that. I think it was lazy because they didn't even make it look particularly old and roughed up.
No,
Like,
I think that was the intent. I think they lazily made it happen.
yeah.
Does that make sense? So
Because
like,
it
I think the intent was that.
logistically, within the world context, it doesn't make any sense that anybody, insurgency or otherwise, would take 500-year-old cars, put them on freighters, and ship them light years away to another planet to use there.
Yeah, it's like the same
It doesn't
principles
make
that
any sense.
if there were wars or battles going around in this day and age, they're using swords and shields from 500 years ago. It's like,
And
no.
horses
Contrast.
and
It's like no,
It's
brah.
just-
They can go and get guns off of the black market, even modern day guns off of the black market. Like even
Right.
30-year-old guns off of the black market. They don't have to go and buy samurai
Well, that's what
swords
I was
from
thinking.
the black market and
Because
fight
think
with.
about like the cost of antiques currently. Okay, so something that's in a good condition like that and is that antique is a collector's item. No way does the insurgency just have that. You know?
Well, the other thing about it is too, and I talked to Grif about this while I was watching it because it was just one of those. I was like, what? So the Tahoe didn't bother me as much because it was background. You barely saw it. It was
so-
just there. What bothered me was the freaking flatbed trucks that they use in the air, and the flatbed trucks are older than the Tahoe that they have. And they're and it's like all they did was put like metal grills on it, like there's more detail in a Mad Max movie with the vehicles than there is this. And then I'm thinking to myself, it's 500 years in the future. Where are they getting new tires?
Yeah, because they're in the desert, so they're gonna need them.
And they
Oh,
were like
yes.
brand new freaking tires that were sitting on these things. And I'm like, oh my God. Like it just, like she said, it's lazy.
It is very lazy.
I think that's what they were wanting to go for was the to show the contrast, but all they had to do was dress it up a little, make it look dingy as shit and old as hell, and it could still be a vehicle, but hide some of the shit that makes it look like a car I can go buy at a car lot.
right
like,
now,
it-
500
Yeah,
years
like
in the
right
past,
now.
according to
Hey,
the
hey,
timeline.
go and buy it, put it in the garage, hold on to it for 500 years, send it down generations, and you could sell it for like another $40.
And just FYI, you know, we speculated that there's a possibility that the dates could have been completely wrong, that they just did it 200 years in the future type deal or whatever.
No, still-
No, it
still
is
500 years.
2552 start of the thing. That is it. So it is 500 years in the future. So just so you know, That's what it is. I will say overall plot line on it, outside of that little bit, because it's 8 minutes of the entire show. Like that's it, 8 minutes. But outside of that, I would say it's a sci-fi show.
Like Sci-Fi Channel.
From
Channel.
the little bits of clips I've seen, it definitely looks like it's from the Sci-Fi Channel.
I will say, without giving too much away, I'm interested to. I like where they're kind of going with the relationship between UNSC and Chief. I'm interested to see what they're doing when it comes to the tech that we're used to seeing in Halo and the Reclaimer part of that, and where they're going with it. Because if they're going where I think they're going with it, I'm pissed because it doesn't follow the lore. And they said we're still gonna follow the lore. It would not be following the lore.
I thought they said they weren't following the lore.
They weren't following the lore. They basically just took Halo and their universe and was like, we like it.
They liked the lore. They did not like the plot. That was the difference. They're not following the plot. They're following the lore. So the background for all of it.
Okay, maybe I'm just really dumb, but isn't lore and plot pretty much just the same thing?
No, lore is the history behind the actual
history
everything
behind the plot,
history of the universe that the plot is built around. So if for example,
they coincide. They're pretty critical on each other.
You can have something that's part of the lore. Like if we went, okay, let's say this is not Master Chief, right? But we said that this is a Spartan of some sort, and this Spartan of some sort takes place after we know Spartans are supposed to be dead. That would not be following the lore. But because it's taking place when we know Spartans still exist, it is following lore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So that would be the difference. So if they were like, okay, this is, I don't know, Bob. So we got Master Bob, all right? And we've got Master Bob that takes place during when Spartans are supposed to exist. That would be following the lore. But if Master Bob is there and we know Master Chief is the only person that exists after the Spartans are gone, then according to the way the lore is set up, but Master Bob, we're following his story, there's a problem. That's not following the lore. So they technically do have lore that's there that they're following. So the Covenant, the hierarchy of the Covenant, there's one interesting part which I'm not going to go into.
I mean, so in the sense, the plot has to follow the rules the lore set up.
Yeah. So basically, look at it as the I guess think of a Dungeons and Dragons, right? You got an entire book that follows the lore. Yeah, and then it's a fan fiction type thing. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Like they took the pre-established history and lore that was all there, but they're like, I'm going to rewrite this story where where I'm the hero or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's for as much money as Paramount has, there are certain parts of their CGI that I look at and I say, you did really good on this one. Okay. Like close-ups of the Covenant look really cool. Strangely enough, distance versions of the Covenant look like they're from sci-fi shows. And one of my pet peeves is not getting physics right in CGI. And I know it's difficult to do because I watch enough CGI people, like Corridor Group, like people like that do this. And I actually sent it to Chicken. Chicken saw this, and it was Master Chief jumping from point A to point B, and he's jumping, and all of a sudden from nowhere just drops and lands on top of a vehicle.
It's like he hits a button and he gets his gravity back. He jumps because everybody has seen it. You know, when you jump, you can kind of float and then you land and you keep running. We've seen it in cinematics where you see Chief jump, land, and then just keep running. But in this one, it's jump and like right before, like you get to the apex and you start coming down and you just slam on the ground real quick. It's like, are we like jump slamming here? Like, I didn't see an impact wave. Like, I'm not entirely sure what that was for. Dramatic effect, superhero landing, like
it didn't make sense. There's some of the things like I'm gonna continue the series. I'm gonna watch it all the way through because I have a real, like, I can complain about something, don't get me wrong, but I would much rather complain about it educated wise, like actually watching each thing, making proper judgments about it, than just not watching it and just complaining about it. So that's what I'm doing. But I'm telling you right now, the amount of people that I've seen on the internet under Xbox raving about this shit is not watching the same damn thing I'm watching.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now.
It's not great. I think one of my, like, you have your pet peeve about the physics thing. One of my pet peeves that will absolutely take me out of something is when something makes no sense tactically. And that I don't want to spoil it or anything, but like the place that the insurgents are at is right next to a place with way more cover, and they're supposed to be in hiding. Why did you build in the open and not in the place with more cover so that you could hide?
Made no sense.
Because you're supposed to be in fucking hiding. Tactically, it makes no sense. Like, the insurgency wouldn't last using tactics like that, because they're putting themselves out there in dangerous positions out in the open and essentially announcing their presence when they're supposed to be kind of...
And based on the technology that they have, a 2001 Tahoe, they don't have any vehicles that can fly, and you're fighting against the UNSC that can, and you're in the open.
Yeah. Like, you're just asking for them to airdrop in because they can see you, and they have clear lines of shot to airdrop in. And we know they've got ODST, so there's shock troopers they can
basically
just drop
one of those things where they just bring a bunch of pelicans in and start hovering. They're like, so
what y'all gonna do now?
You guys want to move this somewhere, or you just want to end real quick? I mean, it seems like this was poor strategic choice, but we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You want to try this again, or shall we just end this?
Yeah, I was like, that makes so little sense that I cannot believe the leaders of the insurgency, or whoever made that call, would be tactically smart enough to survive those kinds of conflicts. It's immersion breaking. It's weird.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed. And
they rolled a 1 on tactics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This and I'll be honest, this series would have been a whole lot better had they followed like an ODST instead of, and then Master Chief shows up every once in a while. You know what I mean? Versus and then maybe even followed Master Chief later on and like led him up to one of the Halo games we knew or something like that. But we still have this is the stuff that's going on the side while Master Chief is doing what you're doing in the video games. You know what I mean? Would have been better.
What I really would have liked if they would have done a prequel to Halo Reach. Basically, the build up to Halo Reach, and then the end of the season is right there, and it's like, if you want to see what happens on Reach, go play the game. And
literally had this conversation with Grif. Not kidding, because we were talking about, because you could build that whole thing up. First of all, nobody's going to complain if they see Master Chief's face before he's Master Chief. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can see that whole build up, everything that goes on, and like the very last shot you see is him getting the actual armor put on, basically. And then that's your lead up to the game to be done,
If they would have followed Halo Reach and Noble 6 and whatnot, nobody would have had the extreme adverse reaction to seeing Noble 6's face that they did to seeing Master Chief's face. We are not nearly as connected to Noble 6 as we are to Chief. And if they would have done whatever they wanted with Noble 6, and we could have put a face to him and then played the game in his shoes, that would have been a lot better and easier to digest than literally taking an iconic character from 20 years who lives behind his mask and removing it just for, and not even like anything that we pictured either. Like, I read a Twitter comment that's like, back in the early days, they have a rough sketch of what Chief would look like that is buried deep in a titanium vault at Bungie that nobody is allowed to ever see. And that's fine. That is where it should stay. Like, Chief is what we envision, not this actor.
Well, and the thing is like the, based on the plot line that they have set up in the first one, the removing of the mask. Had I not, like this, let's say I'm a person that's never played a video game of this ever. It makes sense in the plot line on how they remove the mask and why he's removing the mask. I will say that. I will state the fact that had they done it in a different way, like if they had just had him remove the mask because, oh my God, I'm tired, it's a long day, type thing, it would have been a problem for me. but because of the way they did it, it didn't bother me. And I know it has to be done because of it is a television thing. But I can tell you right now, it's the plot line that they've got set up right now. 100%. I can tell you on the first episode right now. On the last episode, we're going to get a reveal of some sort to set up the second season. And it's going to be one of those. That's all we're leading to. I can tell you right now, looking at this first episode, that's exactly what they're going to do. Because, and I can tell you what, I can almost tell you what the entire plot's going to be for the next few of them. Not all the details, but I can tell you what the overarching story is going to end up being. Just based on the first episode alone. And it's just,
That's
I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes, but it's not good compared to what we're used to.
Yeah.
It's just not. And it's like they put 10 people in a room that never played the video game and go, all right, guys, here's the lore. Have fun.
I feel like that's what they do with every video game, movie, or TV show that they want to make, though. It's like, look how pretty this set dressing is. You don't actually have to know anything about the games, though, so just make us something based on what you see here. And that's what you get, is like, it's all fan fiction. It's not based in the actual game series at all. It's just, this was pretty, and so we've made this into a fantasy for you. It's a very pretty fantasy. Enjoy. Please don't pay too close attention if you know anything about the series, you know?
Yes.
Exactly. But if y'all are enjoying it, let us know down below. If you have counters to what we're saying, let us know down below. I know we can be very negative about stuff like this, but Halo is something that a lot of us take seriously when it comes to that. I've read, I think, most of the books, and then all of us have played the game. So, yeah. So please let us know what you think on that one. Move on to next one. I don't even know where to move from there.
Isn't there one that's about Microsoft somewhere?
Yeah. So of course Activision Blizzard is being taken over by Microsoft, and the people that are at Raven Software are wanting to unionize. Activision's trying to keep them from unionizing, and one of the things that they stated is, oh, by the way, because you're taking them over, you now got to get permission from Microsoft that you're going to be able to unionize. Microsoft literally said, yeah, we're not going to stand in your way. If you want to unionize, that's cool. We're cool with that. And so totally opposite mentality that you're getting from Activision, who's like hiring people to keep them from unionizing.
The age-old Pinkertons. Busters.
Yeah. But I find it interesting, though, just that difference in mentality. But I think it's also why you have one company that's worth, $1 trillion and the other company that's getting bought for $70 billion, So, and going through all the problems and issues that they are. You got from Microsoft.
You just pick where you want to go to.
Yeah, there's really no bouncing around. It's
From
just,
Microsoft, we'll go to their competitor, Sony. How about that?
Okay.
Cool.
They're trying to mimic Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass. Of course, we had the rumors not too long ago about this as well. It came out through Bloomberg. It looks like the rumors are saying that by as early as next week, we should know what the entire overhaul for their PlayStation Plus is going to be. Supposedly, it's going to end up being 3 tiers. Of course, you get something different out of each one of those tiers.
Essential,
reportedly going to be $10, $13, and $16 respectively, depending on those. With the tier names of Essential, Extra, and Premium. Essential is horrible for a name, and Extra doesn't tell me exactly what it is, and Premier just is a name.
I think it's going to be Essential is just going to be the game. Like, you can $10 a month, you get to play a game. Extra is you get the game and the DLC, and Premium is you get the game, the DLC, and everything that goes with it.
Maybe so.
I mean, that's
or they're doing it because you've got PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PSP games that are supposed to be available. It might be where
that is
we're going to give
possible too.
We're going to give you a PS4, PS5 games for the $10 one. We're going to give you the PS3 ones and maybe a PS2 for this one. But if you want PSP and PS1, then you got to pay for the premium or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something. It's going to be something. But hopefully we'll get to see it next week.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm hoping that they get give us really good options for the games that they come out with for like the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1. Some really good classics for that one. This week also we got an announcement from CD Projekt Red. They are confirming that there is a new Witcher game in development. Of course, Witcher 3 was the last one that came out. One of the big things on this is the fact that they're coming out with Unreal. It's going to be on Unreal Engine 5 instead of the Red Engine, which is what they used for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of the problems they were having developing Cyberpunk, or if it's just they look at the technology for Unreal Engine 5 and go, yeah, we can't beat that. But it is
probably a little bit of both.
Yeah,
maybe. There is a partnership of some sort that they are making with Epic Games. People are speculating a possibility of the characters being in Fortnite. We'll see. I'm gonna go. That's probably what's gonna happen. I'm wondering if they're going to figure out a way to convert Red Engine to Unreal Engine and do updated versions of Witcher 3 in Unreal Engine 5 as a possibility as well. That'd be interesting to see.
It will hurt them in the long run if they don't use their own engine, because being attached to another company that controls their engine, you're always at their will. I mean, it's the same thing.
But a lot of people use Unreal Engine 5.
It's true, but it's also why, like using the Frostbite engine, like Ubisoft, right? It's Ubisoft, yeah. Or EA. I think
EA has Frostbite.
EA, their Frostbite engine, and that
yeah.
thing sucks ass. Like, they should use somebody else, because like.
Why you didn't like the hair floating off of people in Mass Effect Andromeda, and people sliding around or sinking into the floor, or you didn't like that? That was a feature, not a bug. God.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about that to me is the fact that, like with EAs, and we talk about this every time, is I don't understand the mentality of making it to where every game you make is locked into that particular engine.
Not wanting to spend the money on licensing, probably.
I guess.
But I think that at that point, if your engine is that difficult and that high maintenance to work with, that you have to have, like, constantly your studios are calling tech support going, okay, well, the engine's not doing the thing. How do we do the thing? And you have like 5 engineers going, okay, you can be on the list, but you got to wait 6 months out before I can tell you how to do the thing. I got other people to do the thing.
You think that they would hire better engineers?
You think at that point they would just license out, like, spend the licensing money to swap to Unreal? Stop it. Your engine doesn't work, or it doesn't work smoothly enough. I mean, half your problems are that you're delaying games because you can't get the engine to work like you want to, and so the developers need more time, but you don't want to give them more time, and so they push out Mass Effect Andromeda. And that's what all of your games are going to come out looking like.
Yeah, but then we're going to get to a point of where every game that comes out looks like Unreal Engine 5.
Well, I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, if you can't make it work, you either spend the money on the resources to develop your engine better so that it runs smoother and your dev teams can actually use it, or you license out a product that already exists. I mean, you can't be cheap on this at this point.
No.
Right.
And I stand by that. If you're going to build your own engine, you need to build it right. Mm-hmm. You have to build it right. It's like the games that they built Fable out of. Was it Unreal? I don't know. I want to say that they built their own engine for Fable.
I am not sure.
Possibility. It looks a lot like the Rare engines using for Sea of Thieves now I think about it.
Yeah. The Forza, Fable.
Somewhat cartoon, but not quite look,
That's weird.
For those that might be thinking, while he's looking that up, if those might be thinking, okay, well, it could be they're going to be on Epic Games exclusive for their store. They have already stated that they're not planning on making the game exclusive to any one storefront, they have their own client, so I don't see that being a possibility anyway. Unless it's one of those, you have to log into Epic Store too. It's like, no, please stop. But CD Projekt Red's always been about DRM-free software and things like that too, so I wouldn't see him doing that. But it would be exciting. So, Chicken, you finished Witcher 3, right?
Yes.
So what are you looking forward to? What would you want? Where would you want the Witcher series to go?
Nowhere. Fable 3 and the Blood and Wine DLC is
Witcher
done.
3?
Geralt's story is done. He's gone. We are moved on forever. We may see Geralt as a character long retired, or he's gone and just a legend. Like, that's it. That is what they said when The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine came out, was that is the end of Geralt's story. He's done.
Right. Where do you want to see the series go? Is what I'm asking.
I have no idea.
Do you want to follow somebody? Do you want to create a brand new character that you never heard of? What are you looking for?
You have to follow somebody. Like CD Projekt Red is. I like Cyberpunk, but when they give you a character and then build a world around that character and tell you a story with that character, you can attach to that character and their world a lot stronger. Like with Geralt, like he was your character. Or Chief, like he was your character, and then build the world and the war, whatever kind of problems he has around your character.
Right.
Because even though you were forced to play a specific character in The Witcher 3, you always felt like you were deciding what Geralt was going to be, what choices he was going to make, what he was going to do. Like, you never felt like you were strapped to his back and he was taking you along for the ride. You were Geralt, and you were taking him for the ride.
So did you feel that way about Cyberpunk? Because you created your own character, you felt like that you were being taken for a ride versus you being the person that you created?
A little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I never felt that way. I always felt I was that person.
There's a difference between character, like creating your own character. To me, it almost feels like you're in a glass shield and you're moving in the world, because your character is just whoever you create, just like everybody else. Like there is no one main character for that game, so the story is whatever you want it to be. Where this is Geralt, everybody knows Geralt. He has a history of being Geralt. He's got entire lore behind him, books, right, movies, shows, like everything. 3.5 long games, and there's so much to him. Specifically, it's not what you think, it's what he is. And then you can kind of take your Geralt and make him however you want, which I think Henry Cavill's Geralt is like the true manifestation of Geralt.
You mean his great writing?
Hey,
he did a lot more talking in this second season. I'm just saying. I think like he is like almost as perfect manifestation in real life of a Geralt as you could get. Like, I mean, he looks like it, acts like it. Like, you see the choices that he makes as what Geralt would make.
Well, but I think what they did really well with the television series for that one was they combined the storyline from the book itself instead of doing the variation from the game, doing the storyline from the book itself, but creating the character we knew from the game. Which I think was brilliant because it was something we could associate with, but at the same time, I think it was more accepting, like versus like Halo where it's fan fiction. This is going to the original material and creating it, even though it's not something that video game people really know because of the variance that was on there. We still know the character and the people around him.
I will say that a lot of people were not happy with season 2 because it deviated pretty hard from the books. But I think they did that in a specific way to make the book lore more sense down the road. Because even the director was like, we're going to stick closer to the lore as we go on from here. It's just that some things needed to be changed for this medium, which is like, all right, you've got a lot of seasons. Season 2 was definitely, it went up and we've kind of come back down. Season 3 has to go back up. So I enjoyed it, but I didn't read the book, so I'm not like super well versed in that book lore.
I would argue that most people have not read the books.
I have the books. I just haven't gotten around to reading them yet.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have them too, but I got around to reading them. And to be fair, like they're, it's one of those where you really have to concentrate on those books because they're, translations of a book from another language, things like that. So
and it bounces around so freaking hard. I mean, it's like the first season in book form. It's like, where am I?
Yeah.
Who am I? What did I do?
Yeah.
Where did I just come from?
Happened? This doesn't make. Wait. Oh, this is where I am. I got you. Wait for the reveal.
Yeah. At the end of the fourth book, you're like, oh, I get why that made sense now.
Yep. I am interested to see what they end up doing with the new saga. I'm kind of torn. I get your argument on creating one character that's part of your narrative, and that's the person that you're following. But I also like the aspect of me being able to create the person I want to be, kind of like in the Fallout series. You're able to do that same thing. But I think that Witcher's already set a precedent that they create a character for you and you're following that character. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's the way it needs to go as well.
I would also be okay if they decided to go the Fable route too, where you create a character and you get to go through this Witcher training and at the beginning, and then you get to go through the Witcher trials and you get the concoction which turns you into a Witcher, and then you can kind of go through the world and adjust things, become a good Witcher or a bad Witcher. And because Witchers are neutral, they just don't care. Some Witchers are like, give me coin, I'll deal with your problem, and other ones are like, give me coin and tell me your problem and we'll see what I will do about it. So there's a lot of room to evolve your character however you want. It's either with a specific name or with a non-specific name. But the Lynx school is not lore, so there is a chance that this is going to be completely created specifically.
Maybe.
So.
Maybe. So move on. Since we've been talking about The Witcher, let's talk about Netflix. So Netflix is they back in November they got into the game world, mobile game world. They had like 6 games on the day of launch. It's part of your regular subscription for Netflix, and now they're up to about 15 games or so. I had to look it up before the show, and they have purchased a company called Boss Fight Entertainment. Mm-hmm. Boss Fight Entertainment is it's known for a free-to-play mobile game called Dungeon Boss, and it was founded in 2013, so it's been around a while. The Netflix swears up and down their games are going to be ad-free. I don't know about microtransaction free or not, but they are saying it's going to be ad-free as long as it's part of your subscription. So I guess what happens if you own the game and then you cancel your subscription though? I guess that's when ads start back up on the game.
Probably.
I looked it up and I clicked on it and it went into my Apple App Store just because I wanted to see how it worked, right? Mm-hmm. And it pulled up the game in my Apple App Store. So then if I click on that, do I have to log into my I guess I got to log in. I didn't download it, so I don't know, but am I going to have to log into my Netflix?
Did you open your Netflix?
Huh?
Did you open your Netflix app?
I opened the Netflix app, and then I searched the games, found the game, clicked on it, and then it goes into it switches over to your app for your games app.
Okay.
And so, but I didn't download the game because I don't want the game. So I just download the game. I'm just wondering if you log into it, do I have to sign into my Netflix to keep it ad free? I mean, that would make the most sense. Because I was like, how are you going to keep up with that if it's separate from the app and the phone?
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, it's an odd technology. It's interesting that they're getting involved in this. They've been asked in the past as well, are you gonna expand this out for console gaming, PC gaming, which, I mean, people are stupid to think it's going to be on console too, but I guess the mobile version could be on console theoretically. But the PC version of it, this maybe could go into PC game world aspect of it. I don't really know, since they're including it as part of the subscription itself. But I just thought it was interesting because you've got people that traditionally you didn't think of as video games. Amazon would be one of those, other than the fact that they own Twitch, that are now moving into that era. Facebook was one of those. They went into Facebook. They created Facebook Gaming, and they also own the Oculus. So this is kind of Netflix's version of trying to get into the metaverse, I guess, is moving that direction possibly. This is everybody's kind of making game moves at the end of the day. And I don't know where this is going to go, but I thought we'd bring it up because this could be 5 years from now. We're having this conversation. We're going to go, okay, Netflix has now got 385 games or whatever. And, with your subscription, and you're now paying $922 a month or whatever, I don't know. So, I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how that evolves. And last one that we got on here, or at least the last one for me, because I don't know if I hit all the buttons or not. So if I missed one, let me know. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed is offering a 4-to-1 combat co-op, 4v1 co-op, where it's actually introducing new Ghostbusters. You'll still have the NPCs that are Ghostbusters that you know, like Ray, Winston, etc. And you're getting trained to be a Ghostbuster, and then you're going out and fighting ghosts. But you also have an opportunity of 4v1 as someone can actually be the ghost. So I think that's neat as well.
Yes, I think.
I wonder if the ghost evolves and it gets like different powers, or because one of the ghosts in the trailer was Slimer, and it's like, oh, okay, he's just gonna float around and eat things.
That's true. I don't know. Like I like the way it looked. Like it's got the little.
It says spread fear, and you are judged as having successfully haunted your surroundings. So I guess you have to. I assume there's going to be like NPCs in the arena that you're fighting in, and the more people you scare and more damage that you do, you rack up points. And if you top score before they catch you, then you win. It's one of those things where if you do more property damage before they catch you, you win.
I mean, it wasn't so much the ghost always doing property damage. It was the Ghostbusters themselves with the proton packs.
Yeah,
that is 100%.
So I mean, it's gonna be one of those things where you've got to try to be more careful about damaging everything.
It was funny too seeing him going into a line, like because like in the trailer itself. So when you all see the article, you'll see the trailer. But when you go into the trailer and they're going through and they've all got their stuff out to be able to do it. And I was like, okay, this is similar to other ghost hunting games that like y'all play and stuff now. But it was like the room was lit, so it was like there was no darkness. It wasn't hard to see. There was nothing scary about the actual room you're going into. So I'm like, is this oriented to go toward kids? Because I mean, if I wasn't who I am and loved the Ghostbuster series to start with, I don't think my kids would know what Ghostbusters are. You know what I mean? Like I grew up with the cartoon. I did, all that stuff back in the day. So I'm just wondering how much call there is for children nowadays to have Ghostbusters on there. I think it's more their parents that would be playing this shit, right?
Oh yes, for sure.
So make it scary. Like I'd love to have, is there a mod for what's the game that y'all play? The Phasma. Yeah, Phasma.
No, there are no mods for it. No.
See how cool would a mod be that like had the voices from Ghostbusters?
Yeah, but there's no voices in this one either, so
that's true.
There's true. no like proton packs or anything really going either.
Not in this one, but the other ghost hunting game there is, because it's ghost hunting and then ghost removal.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I thought it looked interesting, for sure. The only thing that, again, please stop doing this. Stop putting shit on the Epic's Game Store, please.
As an exclusive.
As an exclusive. Like, if I'm going to get this, I'm going to get it on my Xbox or my PlayStation. I'm not going to get it on PC because you did this.
As somebody that doesn't play on consoles much anymore, like, anything that goes exclusive to Epic is like, Like, I just realized, and I don't know why it took me so long. I think it's because I was looking to put it on my Steam wish list so that I could pick it up on a sale. But I just realized that Far Cry 6 is exclusive to the Ubisoft store and the Epic Game Store. And I was like, oh, well, then I'm just not worried about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't need the Epic Game Store when there are other storefronts that you could also sell that on. I mean, and there are people that are partial to, like, the GOG storefront and things like that, too. So, if you're going to exclusively throw it on Epic, I don't need it that bad.
Yeah, I don't understand. Why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
But
If I
Yeah.
ever hear, like, through the grapevine or something that the Ubisoft storefront has it on sale for a super, super deep discount for, like, $5 or something, sure, I'll open the Ubisoft launcher that I have to play any Ubisoft game. But, other than that, no, I'm good. So,
Yeah,
I will also
I
not
guess
be getting this one.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, dude, the only way that you're gonna see me doing it is if I've got enough
Game
friends
Pass,
on like the
please.
Series X or something like that. Game Pass.
Game
That's
Pass,
a possibility.
Please. PC Game Pass, please.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
If it goes on that, I'll download it.
yes, and to be fair, there are Epic exclusives that are on Game Pass too. So,
Yep. They did that with actually the last Metro game that came out too.
mm-hmm.
Like it was released on PC Game Pass at the same time. So, all right. Anything else?
Yes, there was one more article that you did not click.
Oh.
The Ghostwire Tokyo just came out,
Mm-hmm.
and Shinji Mikami wants his studio to be known for more than just horror games. And so I went back and looked at the company that Tango Gameworks. He made it back in 2010 to get away from making horror games. He is the father of Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
He started working with Capcom back in 1989. And when Capcom grew too large, he wanted to step away and make his own company that he could focus on different games with. Like, he was like, all right, enough horror games. I want to move on. I want to try my hand at something different. So when he started up his company and he started working on a different kind of game, his first one was a sci-fi open-world survival adventure game inspired by Dune. It didn't work out too well, and he started getting into financial issues, and that is when Bethesda Softworks stepped in and had its parent company ZeniMax be like, hey, buy them. And they're like, okay, cool. So that allowed them to start producing another game, it started out Noah, I think it was Noah, or Zwei, and it eventually evolved into Evil Within, which is a pure literal spiritual successor to Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things where he was like, here we go again. I mean, I try to make something different, but I end up making the same thing. Then from that, he made Evil Within 2, another success. And now he makes Ghostwire Tokyo, which again is another scary game.
I guess he's just really good at it. Like,
he is really good at it. Like, but
it sounds like that's where his mindset's at. It's kind of like one of those things where you're like, I really want to listen to this type of music today. I don't want to listen to anything other than this type of music today. And then you end up going back to the type of music you were listening to the day before. Like,
Yep.
I feel like that's just where his mindset's at. Like, stick with what you're good at type mentality. I mean,
I wonder
it
if they're
looks like
working on anything in the background. Like, do
he
you have
he
thoughts
said that-
on?
it says that he is. I think it is.
yeah, I think he's still working on stuff behind.
Yeah, that they're creating other things that aren't horror, but I'm just wondering how good they would be comparatively. Because if that's your forte, like that's your, if you're sitting there and you're going, oh man, I'm like a metal artist, like I'm just absolutely the best guitarist in the world and just have the best metal music ever.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, my new jazz album's coming out next year. Like people will be like, what?
Yeah,
could be the best jazz album of all time, but at the same time, people are gonna go, what?
Yeah, so I feel for him. He wants to get out and kind of spread his wings and try something different, but he just keeps getting drawn back into it. Which, to be fair, with Ghostwire Tokyo, it has taken a different line. It's a more action-oriented, scary game. I watched some gameplay of it. It's different. It's different. It's almost like a sci-fi shooter where you have like magic and you fight ghosts and whatnot. It's interesting.
I haven't got to watch any gameplay of that one yet. I know it was kind of hit or miss for some people, but the reviews came back pretty decently though.
Yeah,
I've
like
heard
it
good
seems
things.
it seems to be kind of doing pretty well. It's just one of those things where it's like, we don't know what to expect out of this new game, but it seems to be doing pretty well. So,
I mean, it sounds like, it's still his style. Let me go back to horror. We just
he's still
like,
good at it.
I wonder if that one too is like, okay, we're not gonna do horror. Okay, look, we're gonna build this world. We're gonna make it look different than we did with the Evil Within. We're gonna do all that stuff, and then it goes and horror. We're gonna
And it ends up being horror. It's like, I want to make this cake something different than I've never made before, and you pull it out of the oven and it looks exactly like the 30 other cakes. And you're like, fuck, how did I do this? I didn't even use the same ingredients. How did it still come out looking the same?
It's like, here's my chocolate cake with my chocolate icing. I've got all these right here. Let's pull this one out. We're gonna put white icing on it, but it's still chocolate cake.
Yeah, it's still chocolate cake.
Oh,
Oh,
that's funny. Anything else?
no, I think that is it.
Well, we do appreciate everybody who hangs out with us each and every week on Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Grif.
At Grif Slime.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken through and three.
Check out Baka.
And Baka Bagel.
Also, make sure you go to Grif's YouTube channel. She's playing through like video games and stuff. And then you have to hit the little sub button. And then you have to hit the little bell button. And then watch all of the stuff. And then go back and watch the previous stuff. And make sure you hit the like button.
I get to watch the super new stuff. That's right. I get previews of the next episodes up ahead, so be jealous.
Yeah, see, he's just bragging.
Oh yes.
That's like Patreon tier stuff right there.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's not even low key brag. That's just straight up brag. I get the previews before everybody else.
Also make sure you go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313, where Chicken's live at some point again, and when he is, you'll know because you hit the follow button like you're supposed to, and then when he's live, then you'll know, and then you might get it the next day, but you'll know still. Mine doesn't get delayed. Everybody else gets delayed for some reason, I guess. See, I get the special preview when it comes to that one. That's Patreon tier right there that the Twitch thing comes in right when it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/MDB Oaktree, where I'm there 4 days a week, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Friday. Playing through Icarus right now. A lot of Icarus. Sea of Thieves as well, as I try to finish out the little storyline that's going on with it. And, we play some multiplayer stuff like Apex. Come hang out. If you want to come play, you can do that too. I don't care. I'm all for fun. That's what I say. All for fun. Anyway, for Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Chicken.
I'm Baka.
See ya.
Bye.